To your point about the ability of what your party can and can't do, there's reporting out that suggests that grassroots allies are a bit frustrated with Democrats for not being able to combat the Trump administration more, especially as it relates to Patel. Senate Democrats, especially in that committee, have laid out this case against Patel in great detail, including Senator Durbin just recently sending a letter to investigate Patel to the Inspector General's office over the DOJ. What's your response to that, to these grassroots allies potentially growing more and more frustrated that you guys aren't doing more?
Well, I agree. The only thing I would tweak on that is reach out to the Republicans because they're the ones that are actually controlling what happens in the Senate, certainly with the confirmation votes. Most of these have been party line votes, that have been remotely controversial. And we just did a town hall meeting last night. I was doing it with Joyce Beatty in Ohio. And people were calling in saying, what can we do to help? And one of the things we said was, you've got 2 Republican senators in Ohio. Give them a call. Let them know how you feel about what's going on and the need to, in this instance, vote against someone who's going to make the United States less safe, vote against someone who is a green light to our enemies overseas to try and take steps against us, vote against someone who doesn't really know how to take on the traffickers and the cartels, and vote against someone whose primary mission isn't to keep the country safe, but to launch a retribution tour against Donald Trump's perceived enemies. We need to keep fighting. We need to make sure we do more here in the Congress to keep it going. The courts have been great. I think there are 55 cases roughly, and I believe there's at least 8 injunctions. I don't think any injunctions have been denied anywhere in the United States, so we need to keep building on that. And then the public pushes that we've made, the rallies and the things, this is not so much just on this nomination, but on the attack on government workers has been gaining some ground too.
Yeah, and I would add on that if there's one thing in life that is certain other than death, it's math. And 218 is always greater than 215. And we need 3 House Republicans to do the right thing for the American people on this and any other issue on the House side. And we need Republicans in the Senate side to put the American people over politics and do the right thing. And so we are using the tools that the Constitution gives members of Congress in the minority party the ability to use. Those are not the only 2 tools that we as Americans have. And grassroots activists have an important role to play making their voice heard, especially putting pressure on Republicans. Hey, why don't you be one of the 3 in the House or one of the ones we need in the Senate to do the right thing? Because right now, Republicans feel the pressure if they buck Donald Trump when he's wrong. They fear repercussions. They need to also fear repercussions at the ballot box if they don't do what the American people want them to do. And this is an all-hands-on-deck moment. We cannot, as members of Congress, do this alone. We need grassroots activists. We need our attorney generals in the states who have been suing. We need affiliate organizations who are suing in the courts. This is an all-hands-on-deck moment to save American democracy and to save the services and programs that the American people expect government to provide to them, whether it is keeping them safe through the FBI, or whether it is to ensure they can get health care and that if they're on Medicaid, they'll be able to get it. You cannot count on 215 to overcome 218 without those 3.
Kristen Escal with News Nation. Looking at what happened with Chris Wray leaving his role before the end of his term, assuming that in a few years there's a Democratic president who may not want to keep Kash Patel around should he be confirmed, are you concerned about this position moving away from the 10-year terms, or do you think it should be a position where perhaps each president can choose their own FBI director?
My quick take, I'll give everybody else a chance too, is I like the 10-year term approach. I thought it helped to shield directors from politics, so we don't want them turning over just with every administration. I would note, though, that we've kind of moved away from that over the years. Sometimes we've had people that have left early or been now fired, as happened with Director Wray. But I got to say, though, if Patel is still there and we get a Democrat in the White House in 4 years, I think he should definitely go. he shouldn't be there to start with. And, you know, a guy with this kind of conduct who wouldn't even be allowed to be an FBI agent. This is almost as bad as the DOD scenario where the Secretary of Defense would have gotten washed out as a private for the conduct that he exhibited that was demonstrated at the confirmation hearings. I think you replace those guys. Now, I'll stop there. I'll give everybody else a chance if they want to as well.
Well, you know, I would just add that we are not in normal times. And so there's a false premise where folks are asking us normal questions and wanting us to behave normally when we are walking right into a constitutional crisis. There is nothing that is happening from the Republicans that is normal. And every single person should be afraid. They should be afraid that they will have no more rights, no more freedoms. They will have no more eggs. They will have no more privacy. They will have no more access to the government, to services that they deserve. Because the folks who are coming in, who are getting confirmed, are more interested in pleasing Donald Trump than they are in building up the United States. And my question is, not one person has said, I love this country. I'm here to fight for this country. Not one of them who is getting confirmed has said that. You asked about FISA. I mean, we've been here for over a month. They have the White House, the Senate, and Congress. We should be having substantive bills coming to the floor every single day. Donald Trump told them to work it out, and they're running up into their conferences, and who knows what they're doing, but they are not bringing substantive bills like that to the floor. They don't have a plan other than making sure that they say yes to Donald Trump. And Donald Trump's plan is to make them irrelevant and to govern by executive order. That is not normal.